Hi friends, welcome back to Wine with Me. Today we are in the Rhone Valley region. The Rhone wine region is very different. We have this thin little strip and then it comes out into this big plain. So the skinny part is Northern Rhone and then the big area on the bottom is Southern Rhone. So pretty easy. So it's interesting in the Northern Rhone region, it just has one main red grape, which is Syrah, not Shiraz, but Syrah. And then the white varieties are Viognier, Marsanne, and Roussanne. And what's interesting about this wine region is that it can blend the red and the white grapes together for its Syrah blend, but only up to 20% of it can be white. And why would you do this, you might ask? Thanks for asking. So what's interesting about this region, when you think of Syrah, you think of it's a bold, normally a bold wine. It's going to be very dark. So adding a little bit of white wine will add a little bit more complexity. It'll give more floral citrus notes, and it might round out the acidity and maybe add a little sugar as well. Now, when you go down into the Southern Rhone region, you have a lot more variety. So how Southern Rhone differs from the Northern Rhone, they have a lot more red wine options. This region is mostly dominated by three main red grapes, which is Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvèdre, and they're normally blended together as a GSM blend. You'll see that on a couple labels, and that's what that means, Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre. Other red grapes that you might see is Carignan and Cinsault. Now for the white wines, you'll see Grenache Blanc, Viognier, Marsanne, and Roussanne. And you may see a couple others as well, like Claret and Piquot. So before we get into the wine that I have in front of me, let's talk a little bit about the wine regions itself. In Northern Rhone, when you go down into the more subregions like Saint-Joseph, Hermitage, and Corona, these wines are going to be a little bit more costly. I read something the other day that I found funny, which was French Syrah likes a view, which is very true in the Northern Rhone region. So being on such steep slopes, it has to be handpicked, which costs time and money for laborers, and it just adds to that price. So when you do see regions like Saint-Joseph, Hermitage, and Corona, those wines are going to be a little bit more expensive. When we're continuing down the river into the Southern Rhone region, it's this big plain. And so it has a lot more, and it also has a more Mediterranean climate. So that's why we see a lot more going on in this region. You may be familiar with Châteauneuf-du-Pape, which is from the Southern Rhone region. And what's interesting about that type of wine is that it can be one of 13 different types of grape varieties in that glass. For the most part, you're probably going to see GSM, Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre, but there might be some other, for smaller percentages, to fully balance out that glass. It's really hard to pinpoint what you're going to get in a Châteauneuf-du-Pape, so I'm not even going to go there with that. It can be like this huge range. So this is a Côtes du Rhône red wine. It actually has the breakdown of what the grapes are, and it has 35% Syrah, 30% Grenache, and 23% Mourvèdre. So right off the bat, that tells me that this is mostly from the Southern Rhone region. It also has Marsanne 8% and Carignan at 4%. So normally with a Syrah dominated wine, it's going to be very dark. You do have those purple notes involved, but it is a little bit lighter than most 100% Syrahs will give you. So let's have a taste. This is a very smooth red wine. There's not a lot of tannin. I definitely get those black fruit notes and spice, which is mostly a Syrah type of grape. I also get the red fruit as well, which is more of the Grenache side of things. But very smooth. It's not tannic at all, and not very acidic at all. It's not overly acidic. So it's very well balanced between the fruits and the texture of the tannin and the acidity. Pretty good wine. This one was about $12.99 in my local wine shop. When you have a Syrah 100% or Syrah dominated wine, some pairings could be pork dishes, your lamb dishes or your beef dishes would go really well with that type of wine. Which brings me to you. Have you ever had a wine within the Northern Rhone or Southern Rhone regions, or Châteauneuf-du-Pape? Tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe Wine with Me, and as they say in France, santé!